Praise God one more time. Well, week has come, and I thank God today is Friday. And I'm here again one more time, and I thank God for these precious teaching and this precious revelation. And many people might not like what I'm saying, but if I receive those things from God, what must I do? I can't keep it. I have to belch it. I can't die with it. I have to carry it back out. But I'm just coming fearfully, fearlessly, because I fear God and I ain't fear to talk to man. So I'm coming these times with some great teaching. And the glory of God is upon me. I've been under so much attack. And when they come, I control them. And I use joy on my tax. And I'm talking here about kingdom government. And we use the book of Genesis from chapter 38 with this boy. His name is Joseph, who had 11 brothers. And I like to use the word the young boy because I'm going after the hearers, hoping that the young people will grasp what I'm saying. Because the older one, they're just lazy and tired, and they just can't go no more. Because the whole society and the whole world has shut down. And the older ones now, it's affecting them. Because the norm is to sit down in a pew and listen to a preacher. The older ones, the younger ones, ain't doing that. They're on the run. So we have to give them enough ingredients of God's word while they're on the move. So I'm talking today about kingdom authority. And tomorrow is my Sabbath, tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. I have 2 days Sabbath. I cease from off the marketplace. Every Sabbath, I cease from off the marketplace. 2 days, I rest. I said yesterday about every government, every governmental official or officer, they need to know the God that is in control over the universe. Any government or any government official or president or prime minister or governor or in charge, if they don't know the God who's in charge of the universe, people will suffer. Because they are responsible. They are responsible. They are responsible for the human race. Governmental structure is a part of God's will. In Isaiah chapter 9, I said yesterday, verse 2, the people that walk in darkness, the people, have seen a great light. That they that dwell in the land of the shadow of death. Without the light, there is a shadow of death. See, and upon them, those who walk in light, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 2, has the light shined. Verse 3 says, thou hast multiplied the nation and not increased the joy. So the nations are getting populated, but the joy, the Lord's joy, is not being maintained and distributed. The joy before they are according to the joy in the harvest. So they compare the harvest joy. When a harvest comes in, everybody happy. So that is a joy we all want to have. And as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. So that joy when people are receiving, the word divide, you're receiving. That is fake joy. That is a joy temporary. Many of the human race taking COVID-19 as a death sentence. It is not. It is judgment time. COVID-19 is not a death sentence. It's judgment time upon the earth, the whole earth. And we're trying still, after several months, to figure it out. Verse 6 says, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 says, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." That's Jesus Christ. That's the son that came to Mary. Verse 7 says, "Of the increase of the government, of the increase of his government, and peace there shall be no end." So Jesus Christ structure, Jesus Christ's philosophy, Jesus Christ's teaching, Jesus Christ's contribution, Jesus Christ's decision have no end. It shall go on until you die. Have no end. Have no end. Have no end. It 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 have no end. And he said, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it, to order it. So he came to Jesus Christ, he came to David. He came to David to establish the godly government or godly kingdom. And he came to establish it with judgment and with justice. God is a just God. He's a God of justice. Proverbs 29 verse 2 says, "When the righteous are in authority, power, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn." Sorrow, sad, grieve. When the righteous is in control, the people rejoice. God put this 30-year-old boy, Joseph, to form his own government, to rule a nation. A 30-year-old boy. The king, God possessed the king and showed the king that this boy is authentic. The king gave the boy autonomy, control over the whole land except him. Over his kingdom except him. Because this boy, he has passed every test that came before him. When God selects a person to govern his children, whenever God, anybody around this earth, when God not call you, when God select you, a selection is different than a call. When God select you, he know you will not fail him. When God call you, it's based on you obeying God. But when God select you, God foreknow that you will take it to the end. When God select you, two things is about to happen. One, a famine is coming. A famine is coming. People never experience famine the same way we never experienced COVID-19. There is many people upon the earth. In Africa, I've been to Africa, where rain don't fall, where the earth don't grow, where folks don't have water, they don't have clothes, they're still on pots and fire sticks, they don't have food to eat, the clothes. There are people in Africa going through famine since I born. Because God says that the black people, the dark-skinned people, they will be in bondage and slave for 400 years. And some went more than 400 years. because of the lack of obedience. The black-skinned man. A famine, when a famine is there, there's lack of every way, everything to survive. And only God's way can sustain individuals in a famine. So this young boy, God told him to tell the king, I will send a famine, 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. So the boy had the authentic God-sent revelation to give the king. So a famine is expected when God selects you. That young boy was selected from his father. The next thing, when God selects a person, judgment is expected. Judgment is judgment. God is, we just read in Isaiah chapter 2 verse 3 that God is a God of justice. Isaiah chapter 9. Justice. Verse 7 says he's a God of justice and judgment. So God sent this 30-year-old boy to tell the king, famine is coming and judgment is expected. On who? Those who don't know God. Many of us don't see COVID-19 as a means of judgment. God showed this young boy, this young man now, 30 years, a famine is coming, and the king believed. Famine is an extreme scarcity of food or anything. When things are scarce, famine is there. Or a shortage and hunger. Anything is short. And when it is short, hunger is expected. All through history, God allowed famine. He can do it again. He's God. All the suits and clothes and nice house he have, God could still cause a famine. He's God. Lack, scarcity, hunger. God has, right now, COVID-19 has brought a famine, and we ain't said no. I will deal with that tonight. When a famine is coming, God will raise up a governmental structure. Like this young man, he was given a mandate to put together a government structure that will produce, that will succeed. That young boy put together some official overseer over Egypt, and they had overflow. They show you how successful his government was. They had overflow. He started planting grain and seed and corn and wheat and everything they eat to survive. And he started taking record of what is growing within the 7 years. And when the 3rd year reached, he stopped taking record because everything came in an overflow. When God select you and guide you, he will put you in a place where there is overflow. Right to the boy life. You know, we come now and he's preparing now for a nation, not knowing he's preparing for the world of his time, the lands next door of his time, his neighbors at time. So God does not think but one country or one people or one race. God is a universal thinker. When God attacking the world, he attacking the whole world. So this boy had a government. He can't do that by himself. He must have a God-centered governmental structure. Not like what we have today, when all them politicians, all them governors, prime ministers, mayors, presidents, they want to fill the pocket. Some people want to sit down, do nothing and get paid. There are politicians sit down and they will only check the salary. They have politicians that when the woman in charge, they put the woman in charge as the husband home. You feel God to be involved in that kind of politics? There are government structures with the woman in charge, the husband home. That country could never see its way. Whenever a woman in charge, is judgment. Any right to history, wherever a woman in charge of a nation, of a house, of a church, is judgment time. God never designed women to run nations, to run countries, and to run home and run the church. That's why God angry. Woman in charge. Well, this man, he put together a parliament full of men. Men who will go in the mud and lead and do with people who look to fill the pocket. So they must have overflow. All kind of politician putting a man, wife in charge and the man home cooking. God vex. God vex. God will never put my wife in charge of me. Because God knows I am selected. When you are selected, He will not put your wife over you. Call me say so. Only when you call. Oh boy. Oh, I know I'll get licks with this one. When I'm coming your way, somebody must say it. This young boy, he put together a structure. As Jesus says, the government upon his shoulder. If we build on Jesus' pattern, a plan to win, we will never be a part of the famine when the famine comes. Politicians, do you know God will use leaders? But leaders have order, have structure. And the same way you run your house, you run the church. Same way you run the church, you run the country. Same way the country, you run the nation, the community. God called men to be leaders all the time. Do you know God will use leaders, but they have to adhere to His ways and His order? Because leadership is all about caring and helping the human race, not your family, not your children. COVID-19 bring famine and disaster upon us while we are waiting to be back to normal. Everybody right now waiting to go back to 2019 structure. 2019 structure not coming back, fool. Wake up. 2019 and 18 and 16, 5G here. They never had 5G in 2016. 5G here is a faster move. We are one 5G, but here. COVID-19, we don't want it here, but here. The flu, we don't want it here, but here. The mask, we don't want it here, but here. The social distancing, we don't want it, but here. There are things here, wasn't here last year, and it will be around for a long time. Because God has changed His whole movement. And He allowed things to happen to get the world alert. So COVID-19 bringing famine and disaster upon us while we are waiting to go back to normal. Not me. I am normal. This is 41. This is 41. This young boy, when the king gave him the rights, and he started plant, and the 7 years passed, verse 56 says, and the famine was over all the face of the earth. After the 7 years passed, and the boy maintained the overflow, every barn full in Egypt, every house full, every yard full, everybody full. He had enough to sell cheap. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. So God did not only send the famine in Egypt, He sent the famine over the whole world. As how He sent COVID-19 over the whole world. It's the same thing God did in that time. he do it again. He sent COVID-19 over the whole world. And he sent famine over the whole world. The whole world! Over the earth. And we still waiting for God to bring back money. And we're going in 7 months. We are in the 7th month right now of COVID-19. When the boy was under the 7 years. We are now in September. And the world wake up in January. The seed of COVID-19, it got started in December. Now we're in September. That is 7 months. We get alert in January, February. We are going in 7 months that COVID-19 has surfaced and have no cure. And that was the time that God was trying to give us plenty. But because we turned from God and want to go back normal, the famine came. But Carl Mead is in the plenty. Because I am living in the overflow. All my members, if they listen to me, they will be in the overflow. All members who stiff-necked, famine coming for you. And Joseph opened all the storehouse and sold unto the Egyptian. He opened and said, while the famine 7 years passed, he started to sell cheap. And the famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all countries came into Egypt. All countries came into Egypt. All countries came to Egypt, to Joseph, for to buy corn, because that the famine was so sore in all lands. COVID-19 is over the whole world, fool. Not just your country, or your tongue, or your society, or your place. It's the whole world. No president, no prime minister. They could block the border. They could block the airport. It's coming. They could block all the cruise ship. It's coming. All the airplane. It's coming. They want to open and close, open and close, open and close, and it's still there. First wave, second wave, third. It's still there. It has waves. In kingdom government, for any country or any people to survive in these times, there has to know the God of these times. There is a God of these times and a God of those times. It's the same God. It's the same God then, the same God now. But the only difference is that Jesus Christ has come and the government of God is upon his shoulder. The word shoulder, it means is upon his revelation, not his back. The word shoulder, it means that those people who adhere to Jesus Christ's teaching will be a part of a child government, and God will be in control. In this teaching, the young man knew a God that never changed. Joseph knew a God that never changed. And that God, his name changed. The king changed his name. He married a woman not of his own culture. He married a stranger, not of his own tribe or culture or race, like many of us. He married a strange culture woman. His name was changed. He lived in a foreign land, but his God never changed. Oh, a deep stuff here. All what happened to Joseph, his God, the way he see God, the way he trusted God, he never changed. He never accepted Pharaoh God. He never accepted Pharaoh God. He trusted the God of his father. Thank God his father knew a God that he knew. Joseph trusted his father God. He never accepted Pharaoh God. That's why his God could teach Pharaoh the ways of his God. He never accepted accept Pharaoh gods. He trusted the God of his father. How this young boy know about God? His father, whenever famine is coming, if we are not careful, what we did in the past will hurt us in the famine times. Let me say that again. Whenever God is about to release famine upon the earth, not your country, upon the earth, what we did in the past will be manifesting in the future time in the famine. If you live right in the past, the famine will not touch you. What happened there? This young man brothers, they did the boy some wrong. They sold the boy. And they lied and told the father that a bear eat the boy. And the father believed his brothers. And for 13 years, they count the brother as dead. Whatever you do in the past will hurt you in famine times. Will hurt you in famine times. Many of us don't know that the famine has started in this time in the 20th century. 2020, the famine has started. And many of us don't even know there's a famine upon the whole earth. It started with the churches shutting down. From the time God shut down the earthly house of God, the house of God is going through a drought. You could hardly get again good pastors. He shut down the supermarkets, shut down the bars, shut down the club. From the time God shut down the churches, and the churches' pew became empty, a drought is coming. From the time God shut down the churches, removed the leaders, removed the pastors, and shut the closed door, a famine is coming, and a famine is here. It means scarcity. You will hardly find no Christian people going right now with the right mindset, because famine has hit the whole world. And we still, with jacket and tie and Bible, we're going to go to church and go and pray, cast out devils, have evangelistic crusade, and they don't understand that the famine has started with the church. When God can shut up the earthly church building, something is happening in the heavenlies. It starts with the churches shut down. You ever live to say that the churches shut down? That you can't go in God's house? That's famine. It starts with God's house, God's so-called house. The house of God have lockdown. They have mass. You have to stay 5 feet apart. The preacher had to preach for an hour. All kind of crazy stuff happening with God's house. That's famine. Not just food, the spiritual aspect of the world system. The church is no longer stronger or strong as it were or as it should be. That means we are experiencing a spiritual famine. I will tell you what makes it real. The spirit of fear has taken over the earthly house of God. Every Christian, so-called Christian, every pastor, they wear masks, they have fear, they're afraid to dead. They don't understand we're like sheep for the slaughter. And they're afraid to dead. They're home in the house, only hoping for the door to open to go back to norm. And the door itself know the church is going through a period of famine. And not just your church, or my church, or his church, or her church, or them church. It's all the churches. God shut down big churches, small churches, Catholic church, Baptist church, and all he do, he allowed COVID-19 to spit a spirit of fear upon his people. COVID-19 has been allowed by God to come in the human race so that the human race will know that he is their leader and not man. That is what God is saying here. He's saying here he wants every pastor, every priest, every pundit, every imam, all who play this big this, he let COVID-19 come to the human race, and that they will know that he is their leader and not man. Because a leader was designed by God to point the human race to the Almighty God. But religion have us divided. We divided who is Muslim, who is Hindu, who is Catholic, who is Baptist, who is Pentecostal, who is Jehovah's Witness, who is everybody, all kinds. We divided. So God shut down the whole world, and he trying his best and doing his best to get the human race to know that he is their leader and not man. Many so-called leaders and politicians are crying out to God. Their bishop praying and fasting and asking God to bring it back, and asking God to bring back the churches. Why? I need the money. God, I need the money. Open back the churches. I need the power. I want to cast out some devils. I want to heal the sick. Well, then go in the hospital and pray. All them evangelists who want to heal people, go in the hospital and lay hand upon the sick. No, God, I want to lay hand on the sick in the church building. I want to cast out devils in the building. Well, go on the street and lay hands and cast out demons. No, God, I want to do it by the pulpit with the air condition. Call me here. I back from the dead. If you're so powerful, sir, and you can heal the sick, go in the hospital and lay hands and pray and trust God. If you're so powerful, ma'am, go and cast out devils. You only want to cast out devils by the altar in the building. Those days are over. God shut down the building. So hit the street now. And the church that impressed God is the church without walls. The church without walls is what God bringing back, the early church. Many so-called leaders and politicians are crying to God, bring them back to the norm, so control of the human race can continue. God say, yes, I am fed up. I am fed up with the Rolls Royces and the big chains and the big cross and the long gong, and I'm fed up with the robe. I am fed up. I want to get back the human race, and I will let them know that I am the leader and not man. That is what God tell me to teach about kingdom government. The father of this young boy, Jacob. Remember Jacob? Remember Jacob the trickster? Jacob the trickster Jacob. The father of the young boy, he's a trickster. All the sheep and everything. Trickster, liar. The young boy father, he heard there is much food in Egypt, in the land. He heard that. He heard God sent some news to him. Hey, Jacob, there's plenty food, boy. But before God talked to Jacob, he put Jacob and his sons and his servants and his people to suffer. Suffering come. The famine hit Jacob, hit him hard, and he could not live. And he was dying. The family was dying of hunger. And he heard that there is much food and much grain and much corn in the land of Egypt. And there was experiencing a overflow. Would you like to be in the place that God will show you where the overflow is? Some folks will see an overflow and say, I ain't going there. Why? Call me there. I ain't going there. He there. I ain't going there. That not he. I ain't going there. He's a cult. I ain't going there. But God make the boy father heard there's an overflow in Egypt. There's an overflow in the next man's land. They're in Canaan, but they hear there's an overflow down there. He said, wait up. When an overflow come, you got to find it, fool. Forget who it come through. Find the overflow. When God ready to bless his people, he can create an overflow. Overflow is of God. Nothing can flow over without God. But God wants a good governance. He wants good governance. When a country has good governance, they will experience overflow. Our Prime Minister is doing the best, but you have Hindu, Muslim, Catholic, Baptist in parliament. God can't move there. You have a mixed parliament because he had a compromise. But God needs good governance from any government to create an overflow. And you have to make certain sacrifices. Our Prime Minister has done very well. Very, very well. Very, very well. But God still ain't pleased because you cannot have 6 and 7 different gods in one house. God needs good governance from any government to create an overflow. When government and structures are badly compromised, when they are structured badly with compromise and selfishness, when any government, take it from me here, God tell me say this, God tell me preach this. A man say I'm brave. I am brave. God tell me preach this. Whenever a government structure and been structured badly with compromise and selfishness, the people they govern will suffer. But when a government has been strong and healthy and God-centered, they will experience overflow. Name one country in this whole earth that is governed by godly people. Not one. Not one country where the whole parliament, they're praying. They're born and praying the same God. And they all have the same God. Not one country upon the earth where all the whole parliament have the same God. Whenever government are structured badly with compromise and selfishness, the people the government will suffer. Most human suffering come from evil leadership. Every time a country is going through a famine or suffering, is because they had heard the evil leadership. Crooked leaders, ungodly leaders, adulterers, divorce and marry, drinking and smoking, all them politicians drinking whiskey, getting high, opposition drunk, everybody bouncing glass. You have to hold your home and carry your home and lift you up. You can't lead no country for God when you have drunk every night. God ain't going to hear no leader, no opposition who drunk. Them days are over. COVID-19 will expose these days in the coming years. In this young man's family, suffering came upon them, and all the land of their time, the whole land, all the neighbors, suffering came. Like how COVID-19 hit the world. Not just Trinidad, not only America, not just China. And some people say, oh, we get healed. or we get first wave. Suffering come over the whole world. Not just Trinidad or Tobago or Guyana, the whole world. In this young man family, suffering came upon them and all the lands at their time. At this time, all the land. COVID-19 looked like it brought a curse upon the whole earth. To some people, it's a whole curse. To some folks who want to go back to the norm, it's a curse. But God is about to bring his people back to him. God will use COVID-19 to bring his people back to him. Get ready. Before the curse and suffering come, he will bring his children back to him. Folks will get saved on the highway and the byways. No more church alone will get saved. You will get saved in the marketplace. He will raise some people up. Don't compromise to preach God's word. Fearless, because it's God's time to bring his children back to him, especially the black race. Because the black race was in prison and slave for 400 years. The human race is good, but the black race was the only race was in slavery for 400 years. And you feel God forget that? He's going to raise the dark skin people right now above everybody else. And they're going to have civil war. And the white man will not sit down and allow the black man to rise. But God is in control. I say God is in control. Because the only race of the human being was in slavery for 400 years. And we still in slavery. We're in mental slavery. Our attitude, our concept have us bound, walking with suits and ties and slavery. But God is about to bring his people back to him before the curse and the suffering occur. Through rugged and swift revelation, God will start to raise some men up with some swift revelation. Swift, rugged. And he will use people we never expect him to use. He will use people we never expect God to use. The one we see as underdogs or nobodies, he will use them. The one who we see as small church and small boy and small girl and small, he will use the underdogs to bring some rugged and swift revelation. The young man family enter suffering and pain through hunger. Jacob and his family and all his servants, all his animals went through hunger and pain, while the young boy is the head of the grain and food being distributed. How God can turn some things around. The young boy now is the head. While all this is going on in and our lives and around us, all we have to do is trust God. While COVID-19 has brought a type of suffering and lack, we had to wear masks, stay 6 feet apart, and we can't get food, who get fire, no job, and the container money, and the treasury empty, and if you know what's going on around this world with these governments, you will be shocked. They have no answers. The doctors have no answers. Scientists no answers. They are trying their best to find answers, and all they're doing, and if they can get the people of the earth to believe them, they will have us brainwashed. They will brainwash and have us in expectation, thinking we're going back to norm. While all this is going on around us, all we have to do is keep trusting God. That's what God tell me teach on the radio and on the TV. All we have to do, while all this going on in your country, around the world, all we have to do, keep trusting God. Keep trusting God. And next week, I'll be talking next week of God, providence, and human suffering. God providence and human suffering. In this world that we are living in, some human, they will suffer because they don't want what God has prepared for them. There are people who will suffer because they do not want to hang on with God or hang with God. They don't want God's way. So next week I'll be sharing on God, providence, and human suffering. Carl meet here. It's my Sabbath time tomorrow and Sunday. I'll see you on Monday with my nuggets at 9 o'clock, and also at 1 o'clock, and also at 8 o'clock. Much love. Remember this, we are talking here about the abundance, the advancement to a new level. Much love.